Okay, folks. Hey, it's Jeb again. I am so sorry for all of this confusion. Looks like we have everything ready to go. Whatever was not working is working now. So I guess we'll start over and just say that Farmsgiving is one of our favorite fundraisers of the year. It's generally held in individuals' homes and individuals, good friends of the market, who come together, bring all their friends together, share the story of the market, and at the end of the event, ask for a little bit of financial contribution to support the market. COVID-19 sure has changed the way that we do Farmsgiving, but tonight we're still going to, even with technical troubles, celebrate local food and celebrate it with friends, just in a virtual manner. We have 3 chefs who have sourced their ingredients from the farmers market. Spread in there, you will see clips from some of these farms who have grown or raised their own product being used. You will also meet these 3 Farmsgiving hosts to talk about what Farmsgiving means to them. We hope you enjoy. If you haven't yet and you wish to financially support FFM, just click the Support Us button above. Every gift counts. So now let's start off with Farmsgiving host Jane Fishman, followed by Chef Cynthia Creighton-Jones preparing a fall panzanella salad. You'll also have the chance to meet Chris Molander, owner of Vertu Farms. Welcome to our Farmsgiving.
Doesn't matter to me.
You're not using it for anything.
Not really.
But I only have a couple of very simple questions.
Yes.
So tell me about hosting Farmsgiving. How long have you been doing it, and what's the experience been like?
Well, I think the wonderful thing about hosting Farmsgiving is we get to get all the food from the farmers, from the local farmers. And we're all pretty good cooks, the 3 of us that do it together, Kristen, Carmela, and I. And so that part's pretty easy. And we've all worked in food service, so that's a no-brainer. And
it helps.
The best thing about the Farmsgiving really is seeing disparate groups of people come together. And they're not necessarily people that know each other or knew each other very well. And they can't all be with their own pot at the table. So they're sitting with different people. And a couple of times people have said, yeah, we're going to get together after this. And it's kind of food that brings them together. Food and the belief that what we're doing is worthy.
Yeah, it's really special. And I'm sad we're not doing it this year, but I know that it will come back.
We'll do it again. We'll definitely do it again.
Yeah, and if we have to do it in giant spread apart outdoor tables, we will.
Get our hearing aids.
Do you and Kristen and Carmela, do you ever use Farmsgiving as a chance to try new recipes, or do you you have something you do really well and you pull that out?
Well, a lot of it depends on what kind of food is available, because we do want to use local food. So that's kind of the way I cook anyway. I buy what's available now, and then put it together.
Well, I'm really glad that as my across the street neighbor, you roped me into joining the farmers market.
I did, didn't I?
You did.
That was smart.
But I was willingly roped, though. And it's been great. It's been really great.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Jane. It's great to see you.
Hope I helped.
Oh, you always help.
Good.
Okay. Helps just knowing you.
Just knowing.
Have a great weekend.
Thanks. You too.
Hi, everybody. My name is Cynthia Creighton-Jones with Creations Catering and the York Diner. I'm here today to create a very, very nice salad. It's a Panzanella salad, which is a Tuscan recipe that is normally a summer salad. But as we're going into autumn, I decided to make an autumn Panzanella salad with beets, because I absolutely adore beets, and also with a little bit of chev, which is from Bootleg Farm. We've got some lovely ingredients here. One of the my most favorite ingredients is some microgreens, organically grown from Vertu farms. I'm going to throw that in along with a little bit of basil. Basically, I've got a very nice little loaf here. It's an Italian loaf. I'm just going to cut a few slices off of that bread. So we're just going to cut the bread into little 1-inch cubes or so. One doesn't have to be so specific, because it is basically a little salad that one can do. Let me get a bowl of it. That is just fairly rustic. You know, it doesn't have to be all perfectly squared off. This is not French cooking here. This is Italian cooking, a little bit more rustic, which we love. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to toss it and all of the crumbs. And the reason I do the crumbs is so that I can just nibble on them later when they're all nice and toasty. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take some olive oil. You don't have to use your most expensive olive oil, but just a really nice good olive oil. And we're just going to toast the bread a little bit like that. A little bit of kosher salt. We are an industrial professional kitchen, so we definitely do a little bit of salt over the shoulder. Just toss it like that. And you don't need to have your bread soaked in oil. It's just so that it will crisp up nicely. And then we're going to pop this into the oven. I like to set my timer so that I don't burn my bread. So I've got my trusty peeler here, and this calls for 2 beets. So, you know, I always like to go into a bowl of some sort, so that way I make as little mess as possible. If you have a compost heap, or if you compost, you know, at the farmers market they do compost. You can purchase a bucket, and they take it from you every Saturday. You just bring it along, and I think it's a great idea. So just cut those beets like that. And once again, I'm going to cut things so that everything is mimicking in size. And we will put that into there. You definitely don't want to mess up your manicure with beet juice. So, once again, a little bit of, you see how I'm tossing my stuff? It just really takes practice, but you will learn how to do that very quickly. So just a little toss with olive oil once again, and then I'm going to put some salt and pepper. Once again, I toss. Oh, that's one for the kitchen gremlin. Gets a bit of a beat too. And I'm going to put this into a little pan. If you don't have a pan like this, no problem. You can just put it onto a half sheet pan or a little roaster, etc. I'm going to put this into the oven. The reason that I cover it is it cooks a little bit more quickly. So about 20 minutes. So I've got 2 nice tomatoes, and we're going to cut those up. Once again into 1-inch cubes. Now I've got a big bowl here that I'm going to put everything into, because I want everything to come together into the salad. So once again, saving time and saving cleanup. And of course, these came from the farmers market too. Peppers, of course, have been washed as well. Now, there are many ways of people cutting peppers. The way I like to cut my peppers is straight down like this, because I feel that I have as little waste as possible. And then, of course, these seeds are going to go to the compost. I'm just going to cut these into 1-inch cubes as well. Now, microgreens are absolutely delicious. These ones from Vertu Farms, they really do last quite a long time. I've had them really last from one farmer's market to the next. You know, we go on a Saturday. My husband normally goes on a Saturday with a little shopping list. And then he'll come back and we'll put those into our salads almost every day. It's really, really boosts. It's really great for your immune system, etc. So I would definitely... next time you're at the Forsyth Farmers Market, definitely get some as well. Okay, so we've got our tomatoes, our bell peppers, the beets are in the oven. I'm going to use a little, massive red onion, but I'm not going to use all of it. With onions, everybody's always like, oh, I can't peel my onion. And they take forever to peel the onion. The quickest way I have found is just to give it a bit of a tap, and then just peel that first layer off. You're generating a nice little bit of compost here, I love it. And then I'm just going to take this, slice it, and now, as you know, the onion has a core at the end. That's the end that you slice last. That holds the whole onion together. If you start chopping from that end, then quite easily your onion can fall apart, especially if you're dicing. We're not dicing, we're just going to slice this onion. And you might be like, oh my gosh, I wish I could cut like that too. You totally can. All you do is have your thumb holding and your fingers come again against your thumb so that you have that opposite pressure, and you bend your fingers nicely so you don't cut those fingers off. And that's that. So we're going to toss that into here. If you're going to cry from that onion, don't worry, because we all cry, and there's really nothing you can do. I mean, I've seen people wear goggles and things like that. It doesn't help. So we're just going to do this cucumber the same way into a nice little cube. I had considered leaving the cucumber out because I thought, maybe it would be a little bit less summery if I take the cucumber out. But you know, I really, really like the crunch of that cucumber. And so I just thought to leave it in. The little vinaigrette that we're going to make, it is just with finely minced garlic, a little bit of Dijon. Dijon gives it a lovely flavor. Also, oil and water, as we know, and vinegar is basically the water. They don't mix. So if you add a little bit of Dijon, then you're able to emulsify that, which is really, really super. I'm going to use a Condimento Bianco, which is a white balsamic vinegar, which I like very, very much. You can also use champagne vinegar. If you want to use red wine vinegar, use red wine vinegar. I wouldn't use a dark balsamic because that's going to change the color of your salad. Crush that little garlic. That's the quickest way to chop it all up. Scrape your garlic with the front of your knife, with the blade of your knife. And that helps to chop that garlic up. We're going to throw that into that little bowl over here. So like a half a teaspoon of Grey Poupon. So 1, half. Put that into there as well. Boom. 3 tablespoons of white wine vinegar. So I'm just going to give a bit. That should be it. I'm going to start to whisk this like that, and I'm going to take my olive oil. I'm going to put it in the stream. And you need about a half a cup of olive oil. And I don't think you should feel shy about making a whole bunch of this dressing. It's absolutely superb. And then guess what? You've got dressing for your salad or anything else that you wish to use. We'll hit that with a little bit of salt and pepper. Now you'll see here, I've got a salt and pepper mix. I'm lazy. I'm tired of salt, pepper. I do a salt and pepper mix. Even at home, I do that. Professionally, we always do it. So it's 7 portions of salt to about 1 to 2 portions of pepper, depending on how you like your how much pepper you like. And that just allows you to pretty much always have the correct seasoning, a ratio of salt to pepper. Now, sometimes you will add more salt or we'll add more pepper depending upon what we're wanting to do. So, I'll get a spoon so I can taste that. Get a spoon. Okay, so I'm just going to taste this. It's a bit too much vinegar still, so we'll hit it with a little bit more oil. You want to taste the vinegar in the back of your throat, but not be totally overwhelmed by it. Righty-o, so here we are. We have this ready. Our beets have come out very nicely, as you can see. Nicely golden. They haven't had too much oil on them. I'm going to add them to the salad. And then I'm going to add our breadcrumbs to the salad. Those are nice and toasty and crunchy. A little too crunchy, I think, at the moment, but you want that because they're going to soak in all of that delicious flavor. So I'll put some of the capers into here. It talks about 3 tablespoons of capers. You can go as much as you want or as little as you want, depending on how much you like capers. I'm a big caper girl. I like capers a lot. So we've got our capers in there, and now we need our basil. So I have previously washed this basil, of course. I'm just going to pick a little bit off. So I'm just going to roll this basil up a little bit, and I'm just going to roughly slice it. Like that. And don't forget, a little basil goes a long way. I'm going to add my dressing to the salad. And then I'm going to toss it. Don't worry if it comes out a little bit. You just pick it up and wipe up your mess. You can also, if you have gloves on, you can toss it with your hands. You don't want to put your bare hands into the salad because the oils from your skin, etc., are not good. We're going to let this salad rest for about, I say to you, about a half an hour, so that way the flavors can marry. The bread's going to get a little bit soft, but that's absolutely what you want to have. It's not going to be so soft. I mean, if you left this overnight, the bread would be completely soggy. It would just be really horrible. You want the bread still to have a little crunch. Okay, perfect. So our salad has rested and it's absolutely completely delicious. I'm going to put our bootleg farm chef onto it. Basically, I love chef and homemade chef. There's nothing better. I mean, when you smell this, it's got like a very subtle, gentle smell. Not like some of the ones that are really a bit in your face, which is sometimes I think why people don't like chef. I love goat cheese. I'm not a big fan of goats. So I don't think I'll be doing goat yoga. But anyhow, I'm just going to crumble this. And look how beautifully that crumbles. It's really, the moisture content on this is absolutely perfect. So I'm just going to crumble this into the salad. Now, I'm going to reserve just a smidge because I want to put that on top as a bit of a garnish. I'm also going to take a few of the Vertu Farms microgreens, and they've got sunflower shoots, pea shoots, micro red rambo, micro broccoli, and micro arugula. So you know that is some seriously good stuff. If I can get rid of it. So I'm just going to take a few of these as well, just because I want to mix them throughout the salad, just slightly. So I'm just going to toss this like this. Now, as you can see, I've got a small bowl over here. to serve it in. If you want to, you can plate this up, if you so desire, onto people's plates. It doesn't have to be a salad that's served in a bowl. You can totally, so you just want to make sure that you get a little bit of everything in this bowl. Look how gorgeous that looks. Now, I'm just going to take the rest of this chev and just crumble it on top so that it looks delicious and sexy. And then we're just going to sprinkle a few microgreens just on top like that. And that, my friends, is that. So there you have it, an absolutely beautiful panzanella salad for autumn with beets, a little chev, and a few delicious microgreens. There's nothing that can be said about this that would hurt my feelings, because I think it's completely delicious. And I also think that all that this salad needs is a really nice little glass of Prosecco. That's it. Enjoy the entree and the dessert.
I'm Chris Molander. I'm the owner of Vertu Farm here in Savannah, Georgia.
What's Forsyth Farms?
Vertu Farm is a small-scale, intensive farm. It's about 2 acres here in Savannah, Georgia. We're farming intensively using sustainable practices, hand tools only, lots of compost, and no sprays for chemical fertilizers.
Okay. How do you sell your product?
All of our product is sold directly to the end user. So either a restaurant without a middleman, or a individual at the farmers market, or directly here at the farm.
Mm-hmm. You're a vendor at the Forsyth Farmers Market. What does being a vendor there mean to you?
Being at the Forsyth Farmers Market is a really good opportunity for a local farm like me. It's from Savannah, right here in Savannah. The Forsyth Farmers Market is right down the road. It's really good exposure to local chefs and individuals. The farmers market is really good at helping promote its vendors from in town and out of town, and promoting local and upholding high quality standards.
All right, so I have to say that I was there for the filming of that salad, and it is as good as it looks. Thanks for all of those who participated in the clip. And I also just want to go ahead and take a little time to say thank you to some of our friends who've already financially given to this event. Laura, Kristen, Kathy, Jeannie, Nicholas, Lauren, Alyssa, Rebecca, Janie, Beth, Katrina, Sherry, Sandra, and Leslie. All of these folks gave before the event even started. So a big thank you to those. And we hope that you will join them in supporting Forsyth Farmers Market. Just click on the Support Us button above the screen. Next, get your taste buds ready to see Chef Jared Jackson from Eden Supper Club create our entree, crispy pork belly with new potatoes. Also featured will be Dell Ferguson from Hunter Cattle and Farmsgiving host Robyn Carroll.
Welcome, family. My name is Jared Jackson. I'm one of the chefs of Eden Supper Club. Really excited to have been invited to be a part of Farmsgiving this year. We're doing it remote, so it's a great opportunity to share one of my favorite recipes of all time. Today I have a pork belly, local pork belly. I normally get my pork belly from Hunter Cattle, and today I'm going to show you how to whole roast pork belly, get some crispy skin. We've got some new potatoes here from Joseph's Fields. Billy Botanical blessed us with some great herbs today. So we're gonna do a crispy pork belly with some smashed new potatoes, and I'm gonna make an autumn cream sauce to go on top. So this will be a great dish to bring to the family, so you don't have to bring turkey every single time. I'm sure someone's doing turkey there. So let's get started. First, we're gonna take the pork belly out. We're gonna do the skin side up. Take a sharp knife and we're going to score it. So if you're not familiar with scoring something, basically what we're trying to do is give the skin a little bit of breathing room here. So I patted dry the pork belly with a paper towel really quickly just to get some of that excess water off. And so this big fat cap that's sitting on top of this pork belly, we are going to penetrate just the top of it. Once I go down that side, I'm going to turn it 180, and then I'm going to do some more cross hatching. So we're just going to go again straight across the belly. And what we're really looking to do is just to create some space. So for the pork belly, I want just a little bit of olive oil on there. I get my olive oil from Frawley Gourmet. It's one of my favorite places. That's a highlight for me going to this farmer's market. But so as soon as you get your roasting pan, so you can do this in a skillet, you can do this in a roasting pan like I'm doing, depending on how big your pork belly is. I'm gonna turn up our heat just a little bit. And we're gonna render some of that fat. Take some tongs and just kind of try to help it along. I'm going to grab a little bit of salt and pepper. We're going to season this belly under here.
Tell me about Eden Supper Club.
So Eden Supper Club, it was kind of birthed out of wanting to do something different. I've worked in this industry for a long time and worked with a lot of really talented cooks, really talented chefs. And, anyone who works in our industry will know that it's taxing, it's hard work, and you don't really get a lot of room to be creative depending on where you are. Getting creative is a freedom you get when you do your own thing. So I think I just thought, why not just do our own thing? So me and Evan decided one day that we were going to start offering some public dinners for donation. So we would do, I think our first one we did maybe 15 people. We did 6 courses, which is a lot. And we enjoyed it and we loved it. And we just did it for fun. So we didn't really have any expectations. But I think people were looking for something like that more than we realized they were looking for something like that. So we just kept doing it. We kept getting people that wanted to be at the next one. All right, so I think we're at that point. We were ready to turn our pork belly over. You see that skin started to render. And at this point, I've got my oven preheated. My oven is preheated to 180. I am going to toss this bad boy in the oven just as is. And so that's going to go in the oven at 180 for about 2 hours. Okay, so to go with that pork belly, we're going to use some new potatoes we got from Joseph Field Farms. New potatoes are some of my favorite fall produce. I don't know, I just like new potatoes. They a little bit more versatile. I can do a little bit more things, and one of my favorite things to do are smashed new potatoes, roasted smashed new potatoes. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of olive oil. We're going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. Keep it really simple for the roasting of these potatoes. We got some herbs from my friends at Billy Botanical. We have some thyme. We have some rosemary. We have some sage. And I'm not even going to really spend a lot of time breaking this down. We're going to take some thyme. We're going to take some rosemary. And we're going to mix it with these potatoes. So just give that a nice little mix. Mix up those potatoes and those herbs and those oils. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a pocket that we're going to slow roast these potatoes. And this pocket is going to help steam them, cook them a little faster, and allow the flavor of all those herbs and seasonings we just put in there to really meld together. So just grab the corner both sides, just kind of tuck it up, and we'll create our little pocket right there. And before I close it up, I am going to take this garlic, and we're just going to whole roast it. So I'm going to cut it right in half, and I'm just going to put it and set it right on top of it. So I'm going to make sure that you close it, give it a nice seal, close it up like that. I'm going to take that and I'm going to put that right next to the pork belly in the oven. I'm going to go with those new potatoes that we just threw in the oven and the pork belly we threw in the oven. We're going to make an autumn cream sauce. So I'm just taking some sage, and we're just going to rough chop this sage. I'm really in the rustic mood today. So we're just going to take that sage, kind of bundle it up, stack them on top of one another, and just give them a rustic cut. Just kind of cut them all the way down. I'm going to take a few shallots, and again, very rustic. I'm just going to cut it in half. A few cloves of garlic, and if you don't have shallots at the house, white onions work just fine. So I've got some fennel seed, some coriander seed, a few cloves, and a little bit of mustard seed. So the pro tip is to, in a cold pan, put those spices in there, and then toast them just slightly. So being in that cold pan and bringing up the heat into your spices are really going to bring them out, especially if you're doing a sauce that you're going to strain and you're not going to blend up. This is a great way to infuse your sauce with whatever seasonings that you're looking for. So once the pan starts to kind of warm up, I'll take it off and I'll just swirl them around. Honestly, it doesn't take long, no longer than 30 seconds in this pan. That's really going to allow those flavors to come alive. I'm going to pour a little bit of olive oil in the pan. Once I can begin to smell those spices, and we're going to place those in the pan. So my shallots and my pressed garlic are going to go in the pan. What we're looking for is we're looking to get some caramelization on those. On that garlic and on those shallots. When we're able to get the caramelization we're looking for, we start to build the fond, which is going to be all the leftover flavors that are sitting at the bottom of that pan. All that's really going to help our sauce really develop. Not leaving anything out. We want all those flavors that we built into the sauce to really shine and come through. Grab a little bit of white wine. I'm going to tilt this pan and I'm just going to deflate.
You originally from Savannah?
No, I'm from Boston originally.
Okay.
But I grew up here. I went to elementary school, middle school, high school down here. Yeah, I love Cynthia. I have its moments for sure. But I like it. It's got a town feel in the city sometimes. I know Savannah's big, but coming from Boston, it's not a big city. Although this is a metropolitan, this isn't a huge city. But it kind of feels like a town sometimes, especially when you're in different districts. And, everyone's kind of different. So yeah, when we reduced it about halfway, we're going to go ahead and add our apple cider vinegar to the pan. And we're going to add our apple juice to the pan. And what we want that to do is we want that to reduce almost all the way to au-sec. Au-sec is a French term for, basically cooked all the way down, reduced all the way down. So if I were to have these shallots in here and I offset these shallots, I'd pull all the moisture into them so that those were the infused part of this dish. So at this point, we're pretty close to where we want to be. That's wine, the apple juice, and the vinegar has reduced almost to a syrup. So what we're going to do is we're going to strain off that syrup, strain off our veggies and our seasoning. Set this to the side. I'm going to put that sauce right back in. So once we've strained it, I take that almost syrup and pour it back in the pan. Get a small whisk or a whisk, whatever you have at home, to kind of help emulsify. We're going to take a little bit of our pork fat from our belly. Throw it in there quickly. Make sure it's emulsified. You can kind of tilt your pan. I'm going to add my heavy cream. We're just going to add a little bit at a time. Just emulsify it together with our whisk. So once I feel like I'm close to being done with the sauce, I'll get a spoon and taste it before I add any salt if I need to. Oh wow, that's really good. I'm going to add a little bit of salt to it. Find wherever you're going to contain your sauce and give it a nice pour in there. Be sitting, waiting for us. Our new potatoes are out of the oven. They're roasted. One of my favorite things to do with new potatoes is to, do it's almost like a twice baked potato kind of. But we're going to end up frying these. So we take the new potato and just take whatever bowl you have at the house, whatever flat surface you have at the house, and I'll gently smash them. So they're still whole, but they've kind of broken, which will allow, a great refry. Shut out the oven, let them cool for a little bit. If you do them too quickly, they're going to smash all over the place. So always bring your pan to you. It's okay in this instance to kind of start with the pan that's not hot. If these are cooked, we're just gonna fry them really fast. So don't overthink it. Just do it. Get it done. We're aiming for a crispy outside and a soft inside. And all those flavors that they sat there and cooked in should do us well. I almost want to sort of forget about them, so you don't mess with them too much. Name of the game. Once you have a good sear and good fry, we'll take those out and you're playing it for dinner. Put it in a bowl like you would some mashed potatoes. Falling apart and all. We've got our pork belly out of the oven. I went ahead and cut a piece of it. We've got the crispy skin that we're looking for, nice and rendered. So our job is mostly done at that point. Now we just get to slice down and plate. Cut them in fair slices so that everyone gets some. So, we have our cooked new potatoes, we have our rendered pork belly with crispy skin, and we have our autumn sauce. Now, if you're cooking for a bigger family, get 2-3 pounds of pork belly, and I think you'll be in good shape. And I think this is a sauce that, honestly, just going straight across the top would be delicious. So, I hope you guys enjoy it. Thanks for tuning in.
So how how do you feel your work makes a difference in the lives of others?
Well, it is a real blessing to know that the food that we want to eat ourselves, which is healthy and stuff that our digestive system can handle. So it's a real blessing to us to be able to, number one, help people that have health problems, but also other people that want to prolong their lives eating good food as well. So it's a real blessing for us to be able to do that.
Cattle is a true family farm. Why is that important?
I am very blessed that I get to see my kids and grandkids almost every day of my life, and not only just see them, but to be able to work with them and enjoy life with them, learn how to have relationships that are beyond father, daughter, son, grandchildren, but be able to work together too, which we've been doing now for generations in whatever we do. And to be able to have this lifestyle, a family lifestyle on a farm, is something that is a very big blessing, and we just thankful for our customers to actually be able to support us to do that. We learned through this year with massive shortages in meat supply and food supplies, that the people around here came to us and used us to buy their meats, and it was such a blessing to us, actually, not just to sustain us financially, but to see how the community, relied upon us. And so buying local is a whole new meaning. And, not only for us, but for our customers who have told us that they were thankful. We picked up a lot of new customers, and a lot of the existing customers just told us how much they appreciated us. So we want to say we appreciate you back, and thank you for, supporting a local business and our farm and the supporting farms around us that we support as well. So thank you very much.
There we go. So what does Forsyth Farmers Market mean to you?
So Forsyth Farmers Market means mainly community to me, not only the community in the Victorian district downtown by where the farmers market sets up in Forsyth Park, but also the greater Savannah community, how the farmers market is so great at outreach into all different areas, driving the food truck around to the south side, but also to areas that are more in need, areas that are food deserts in Savannah, for tourists and for students. It's also for locals and for farmers. So we really like it because it's providing fresh local food, it's supporting the farmers, it's a huge community, it has the farm truck, it has the pharmacy program, it does the double EBT points, so there's just so many areas that the farmers market touches.
And then why do you host Farmsgiving?
We host Farmsgiving because we enjoy getting our friends involved in organizations that are important to us. So it's really a fun fundraiser that we like to participate in. We're able to tell our friends to get a babysitter and then come over for dinner. And so it's a fun night, not only for us, but for everyone involved.
So describe your previous Farmsgiving parties. What have they been like?
We've hosted for the last 2 years, and we usually do a seated dinner for 20. I like to pitch it to my friends as like a date night, but with your friends. So get a babysitter and come and drink and eat dinner and have a leisurely evening. We usually end it outside by the fire pit with dessert outside. So that's kind of what we have done in the past. This year, obviously, we're rethinking how we do it. We don't want to do 20 people at a seated dinner, but we're going to come up with something creative this year for sure. Farmsgiving is a really great fundraising idea that we've really been able to embrace. It's been successful for the farmers market and for us.
All right, that was wonderful. And just a little side note about Robyn and Sam's Farmsgiving. They were the most profitable Farmsgiving last year. So big kudos to them for all they do. I also just want to give a quick shout out to Whippoorwill Farms. We use part of their, the pork belly used in the shot, part of it was theirs. So we appreciate them. And all of you may be asking, why does the Forsyth Farmers Market need money? Well, the answer is that we are hashtag more than a market. Our mission is to serve farmers and improve food access in our community. We do both with all of our programs. The Saturday market is our most visible of our programs. There we make room for over 50 food vendors to meet the community. We've been doing this for over 11 years. With our partnership with Wholesome Wave Georgia, we are able to double SNAP dollars, also known as food stamps, making food more financially accessible. Our second most visible program is Farm Truck 912. Farm Truck 912 purchases produce from farmers at a profitable rate and then takes it into primarily low-income, low-food access neighborhoods. Farm Truck 912 helps support farmers and makes fresh local produce physically and financially accessible. 912 Food Pharmacy is our newest program that gives education and financial incentives to low-wealth individuals who are at risk or currently have a diet-related chronic disease. We also have an intense education program. One of our offerings is A Taste of African Heritage. It's a 6-week program that works to connect individual diets to that of their African ancestors pre-diaspora. At diaspora. As you can see, we are more than a market. So please do click that support us button. Now let's meet Natasha Gaskill from the Gray for dessert. She is making her famous pecan pie. You'll also get to hear from Pecan Gatherer Mustafa from Alaka's Pecans and our founder, Kristen Russell.
Natasha Gaskill. I'm the executive pastry chef of the Gray restaurant and the Gray Market, and I'm going to show you how pie using pecans. So first off, we're going to take a pie shell. You can either use the store-bought one. We make them at the market and sell them in the frozen section, and you want to start off with it being frozen. We are going to par bake this. So you're going to get your oven piping hot, like 450 degrees. And we're going to weight this down with some parchment and some beans. So that's the first step to keep this crust really crunchy and crisp. So I'm going to spray a little pan spray. You're going to press it into your crust. And you're going to want to fill it all the way to the top. My pie dough recipe I almost swore. It has a lot of butter in it, which is great, and it makes for this very rich, flaky pie crust, which you have to be really conscientious about keeping weight on it, or else it's going to slide down. And I'm going to bake it weighted for 20 minutes. And then I'll take it off weight, we'll egg wash it, and put it back in. So you're going to start with just a little less than a stick of butter. If you have a scale at home, it really makes for the most perfect baking experience because you don't have to guess. Because my 1 cup will be different than your 1 cup. So it's 85 grams of butter. We're going to melt this. All right. I'm going to melt this guy. The nice thing with pecan pie, I think, is that it accepts like all sorts of different flavorings. So you can go totally traditional, right, which is just, you know, your syrups, your brown sugar, and it's like a praline basically. But you can also add spices to it. You can add heat to it in terms of like chilies or any of that stuff. It's totally delicious with it. You could add booze to it. Pecans love bourbon. Pecans love tequila. And it's delicious in the pie. And you also don't have to stick with just corn syrup. I always do like some kind of blend of syrup. This time we're going to do like a corn syrup, but we're also going to do sorghum as well. And it's going to add like a level of, it's like a minerally flavor. It's still sweet, but it just gives you a little complexity to it. We're also going to do allspice in it and a little fresh lemon zest and a little tiny bit of vanilla. And salt, always salt. So we're going to do our brown sugar in here. And I'm going to add everything to this bowl, and I'm going to do my eggs separate, and then we'll combine stuff. And we bought a bunch of it. So I've done it with cane syrup before. I've done it with cane syrup out at Open Island. You're not helping. You can't be in here. Go get your bone and go lay down. Go lay down. No, get out of here. Go. So back to this though. So we're going to do, we've got our brown sugar in here. I'm going to add like a hefty amount of salt to it. I like my pecan pie to be a little on the salty side. So I mean, I'm going to say like probably almost a little over a teaspoon is what I'm going to add to it.
And just so our viewers know, where'd you pull your lemon from?
This is from the backyard. I think I'm also going to put a little lemon juice in this too. Put a little vanilla in this as well. About a teaspoon or so. And I think the biggest part about it is it's supposed to be fun. You know what I mean? Like you're supposed to be having a good time. And I think if it turns into a really exacting task, it's not really that much fun anymore. Then it stresses you out. And then with your allspice, I'm going to do like maybe a half teaspoon. Yeah, that looks right. All right. And the nice thing to do too when you add zest to something, and this could be orange zest, lemon zest, whatever, is to rub the zest into the sugar that you're working. It releases all the essential oils in the zest, and it helps to really season your sugar. Okay, so I'm just combining my sugar and my syrups. I'm going to taste for salt right now, and also for that spice. Make sure it tastes like how I want it to taste. I love sorghum. So good. That's our melted butter. We're going to add that to this mix here. So we're going to do 3 eggs in here. These eggs are so beautiful. Did these ones come from Bootleg Farm?
No, these were some that Lauren had gotten from Anna and Billy of Billy's Botanicals.
Oh, nice. They're gorgeous. Well, good job, Billy and Anna. They are really lovely. All right. So I think it's always better to just whisk your eggs off to the side, then add it to your pie filling. That way you can make sure your eggs, the yolks are all broken, everything's combined, and you're not going to have like bits of eggs that are going to show up in your pie filling. All right. That's going to stay off to the side. We are going to chop up these pecans. And I like a kind of a coarse chop on it. I don't think it needs to be too fine. Like almost 4 minutes out. And sometimes I just kind of run my knife through it. We also have been selling pies online through Goldbelly, and this was another pie that we had, one of the ones we chose, because I just think like this program that Mustafa is running out there is, I think it's really special, and I think it's smart. and really resourceful, and taking something that would be not necessarily waste, but I mean, it's cumbersome to have a pecan tree. But they're all over the place, and they're old. You know, I bet you those trees are like 75 years old. You know, so there's a lot of Chunk. I'm trying to talk. There's a lot of trees out there. So he goes and he'll go collect the pecans that have fallen and also take the pecans off the trees. They do a weigh, and they weigh them out, and then he profit share, or he buys it from those families. And then he takes it to the hopper and cracks them and sells it at the market, and then also sells. We use him in both restaurants, both the Gray restaurant as well as the market, for savory applications as well as pastry applications. It's the only pecans that we use in both places because I just think he's so important for us for us all to support. And I just think it's such a cool idea that he came up with it. So this is going to end up being probably about 4 cups of pecans that we put in there. Kind of like everything else, you don't really need this as a measurement. This whole situation here is going to act as your binder, you know, so it's really as much pecans as you like. If you like a lot of filling, then I would go maybe 3 cups of pecans, but I like pecans, I like pecan pie. So I'm just going to take a couple more of those eggs, a little splash of water just to break them up. So at this point, I'm going to drop my oven down a little bit. Take it down to my oven, because I would probably take it down to 400 if you have a good oven. This is a prime example of like the cobbler's children have no shoes. I'm so shocked, but my oven is not great. It makes such a difference to bake it first. It keeps like your pie shell, keeps it really crispy. So now this is the best tip. So if you have full sheets of parchment, I think it's worth getting full sheets of parchment just to keep on hand. I just roll them up and I just kind of stash them away just for pie making, because I know for a lot of people pie making is a very frustrating experience. And I think if you have proper tools, it's so much easier to deal with. And I think this is one of those things, like this is a proper tool to have that just makes your life easier. And I take my pie and I set it in the center of my parchment. I just stack it like a piece of candy almost, you know? And I just twist the ends. And then that protects it. And it protects all your edges, so you don't have to like take pieces of foil out and then try to like create it around this hot pie without trying to like crush your crust as well. It's just super simple, super fast. Then it's going to go back in, and I'm going to bake it till it's golden at this point, which is going to be another 10-15. You've got like little bubbles that you can see that you've got some layers that have happened in there. So we are going to let this just hang out there for a second, and we're going to combine our filling now.
How long have you been baking?
So I have been baking, professionally I've been baking since 2007. But I used to bake at home all the time. I moved here and I had small kids, so I did a lot of baking just in the house. And we actually used to own a recycling company. We started a recycling company here called Rare Earth Recycling.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So we had this recycling company, and I did that for a year, ran that, and then we worked with the municipality of Savannah to with the curbside stuff, and we sold our company. And when I sold it, I went back to school and I just went to Savannah Tech and got, and at the time they didn't even have baking and pastry. They had culinary. So then I just went and took the baking and pastry classes that they had and worked on a couple of special projects with Chef Sean, who used to be the man who ran that program, but he's a master baker. And yeah, then I worked at Lulu's for a time, and then I had my own bake shop called A Squad Bake Shop, and provided desserts to restaurants here in Savannah, and donuts like all over town and stuff. And that's how I met Mashama, because they used to buy pies for the restaurant.
Okay.
And that's how I went over there. So I'm gonna fill this guy with my chopped pecans. And it's like, probably 3/4 the way filled with pecans. I really only am using this filling as binder just to hold these pecans together. So I'm gonna stir this. So like I said, once you introduce your eggs, it's gonna wanna kind of separate. So you just move it together. You don't wanna whisk it for a lot though. You don't wanna introduce a bunch of air. So once you get your eggs involved in this syrup, you can just change out to a spatula. And then I just pour over the top. Shake it. And then I just sort of stir it once it's in here. And let this hang for 1 second and then drop the oven, which I should have done. So this is going to go into an oven at 350. So it'll probably, like, the more filling you put in it, the longer it's going to take to bake for it to get to a set point. With all of these pecans, I'm guessing will probably be done in about 25 minutes. And you can cool it. And then you can have it either way. Like, you can have it room temp. You can't really do it hot because it needs to sit and set for a sec. So in it goes. So you're going to look for, basically about a 4-inch, 5-inch circle in the center. It's still going to be really moving. You're going to pull it out, and as it cools, it'll set more. If you take it too far, you're going to get it so that it's going to be like brittle on the top. So hopefully we're here. All right. Let's see. See? And that's ready. And I know it doesn't seem like it is. I know it seems like it's like a sea of really loose pie filling underneath. It's ready to go. And we'll just let it cool.
I'm the owner of Lockheed, Georgia, located here in Savannah, Georgia. Our company started in 2015. We're actually a sustainable living company where our pecans are, we harvest our pecans out of various neighborhoods, mainly on the west side of town. In Savannah, we actually, there are several different species of pecans that's growing in a particular area that I harvest. Species such as seedlings, Stewarts, and Elliots are very popular. My company was named Alake Georgia Pecans. Named Alake is Nigerian for pampered child, named after my daughter. That's her middle name. Her name is Nazenga Alake. But all of our pecans are harvested right here in Georgia.
So what does the Forsyth Farmers Market mean to you and Alake's?
Forsyth Farmers Market means a lot. We get a chance to provide a nutritional nut that that the public really needs, especially during this particular time of what's going on with the pandemic. Forsyth Farmers Market was the first farmers market that I ever entered, and they allowed me, they gave me a chance, and so we've been able to grow since then. But they've given me not only a chance to be able to meet a lot of beautiful people, but just the vendors. All the vendors are very nice. All the staff members, from Jeb to Ashley, everybody's been very nice. I've been there so long, I don't even remember how long I've been there now. We didn't even have a tent when I first started. We just had a card table and a couple of pickle jars where we had collected from around here, and we had so many bags, and so Kristen and Terry allowed me to be able to set up, and so we were hand cracking them. We were being there me and my nephew being there all day long, trying to crack all week long, trying to get prepared for the farmers market. And so we started out from several pickle jars all the way up to 30-pound bags now.
How do you feel your work makes a difference in the lives of others?
Okay. Well, once again, farmers market's been open since the pandemic. We haven't closed not one weekend. All right, how you doing? All right. We've been able to provide an essential item that's very important to those that's not only vegans, but those that's looking for a nut that has nutritional value, especially during these times. Now, the company does 54 different flavors of candy pecan. Our top seller is called the Sweet Salty and Buttery. I have a degree in environmental science, minor in chemistry. Everything that we do is surrounding my college degree. Like I said, I'm just so glad to be a part of the Forsyth Farmers Market. This video is being made for, I think, in conjunction with the Gray Restaurant. I want to thank Mashama. I want to thank Natasha. I would like to thank the Gray Restaurant. I'd like to thank Jeff, Ashley, Kristen. I'd like to thank the whole crew. I'd like to thank you, Christina, for the beautiful interview, being a beautiful person. So thank you, and if that's it.
Okay, we're on.
Okay.
Who are you?
My name is Kristen Russell, and I am a Farmsgiving host of several years now, and over a decade ago was one of the folks that started Forsyth Farmers Market.
And why did you start the market?
I started the market because my vision of a healthy community and a place that I want to live involves lots of people being able to eat really close to the source.
It's been 10 years. Why do you continue to, 11 years.
Yeah.
Why do you continue to support FFM?
Well, because it's a cause that's super near and dear to my heart, but I also think about what it's going to take to undo 50 or 100 plus years of industrializing our food system. And not that we need to completely undo that, but I am of the belief that having a lot of small farms that a lot of citizens interact with and getting everyone nutritious food hasn't traveled too far is a worthy goal. But to think that that's going to happen without private citizens' dollars and efforts and a whole lot of time passing is ridiculous. So I will continue to support the market to the best of my abilities until everybody in my neighborhood is eating from a farm, at least, enough food from a farm to be healthy, both nutritionally, emotionally, socially, spiritually, what we all need.
So, Farmsgiving is a special way of celebrating and supporting the market. Can you talk a little bit about why you host and how you host?
So Farmsgiving is our fall kind of event-based fundraising and has been just 4 years in the making now. And I typically have a big-ish dinner for my house. I try to seat about 20, and that involves every card table and desk and chair I can scrounge up. And I cook a big fancy meal with ingredients from the farmers market, and I ask my guests to contribute some amount of money. And support of the market, and we have a good time. I have several friends, Jane and Carmela, come over and help me cook. Terry and Lex come over and help me do dishes. I've had a variety of friends help put it on over the course of the years. It's kind of a production. People should give to Forsyth Farmers Market if they are in support of a local food system that is accessible to all citizens and keeps farms real and food delicious and nutritious paramount and food culture going. There's so many missions crossover in having Forsyth Farmers Market as the center of a local food system that really knows. We have lots of volunteer opportunities, which we'd love people to come to. And for those of you with enough money in your pocket to make a donation, we would really appreciate if you click on the Support Us button for this virtual Farmsgiving. Drop a check in the mail, go to our website, do your homework, click the donate button. Any way you can find technologically or even in person, you can stop by the office and lend us and give us some of your ducats. We'd appreciate it.
Well, that's a wrap, folks. We hope you've enjoyed learning about some of the delicious recipes and meeting some of our wonderful farmers. Thanks for spending the evening with us, and we'll see you at the market or at Farm Truck 912. Good night.